Hi there folks, welcome back to my channel, and for this video I'm going to be doing another book review, and this time it's actually going to be a book that was based on a movie. And okay, I know that it's usually the other way around, that movies are kind of based on books that are already out, but this one was actually based on a movie that one of my friends had got me on DVD a few years back. I'd sat and I watched it and absolutely loved the movie. So I'd randomly came across it in Waterstones. I think it was the latter half of last year, so it's the latter half of 2019, and treated myself to a copy. So it's been sitting on one of my bookshelves since then, and it was one of the books that I'd end up reading this month. And the book itself is Pan's Labyrinth. So it's I think the main writer was Cornelia Funke. I think that's how you pronounce her surname. So but Del Toro, I think the director of the movie, did work with her on it. And I have to admit, I do love the artwork. You can see the kind of the image on the front cover, but it's throughout the book. Try kind of a good one. Throughout the book itself, there's just all this artwork, just these kind of black and white, almost like kind of pencil and ink drawings, and I think it's almost like kind of at the start of every section, there's a drawing like that, and it just kind of gives it that kind of air of it's supposed to be a book, that it's supposed to be a kind of a fairy tale, and it kind of fits in with the way it's written. But let's just say, as if you know the movie, you know it's not a fairy tale, or you know it's a fairy tale, but it's kind of definitely on the dark side of things. So before I get onto the main body of the video, the main purpose of the video, if you enjoy my videos, if you enjoy my channel, please click on that subscriber button, please click on that notification bell. It helps the channel to grow, and it is always really appreciated. If, again, as I said in one of my previous videos, if you have any suggestions for books that you think that I should read, you think that I should do a review for on my channel, please let me know in the description bar below, and I'll definitely, if any suggestions are made, I'll definitely try and get through as many as I can. So as I was saying, with the book Pan's Labyrinth, it is based on the movie, and so that's kind of part of the reason why I kind of picked the book up last year. And I was kind of really hoping that the book would live up to the movie itself, and I really think that Cornelia Funke, who I think she is kind of quite a well-known author of kind of, I'm not too sure what other books she's done, because I think that's the first one I've read. When just looking at the blurb here at the back of the book, it's saying she's done Inkheart, which, if I remember correctly, they actually turned into a movie. So she obviously kind of does kind of like writing these stories where it's kind of set in a world that's not really what it seems, and I think she did an amazing job writing a novelisation for Pan's Labyrinth. And it is very much a kind of dark fantasy. It's kind of relies very much on folklore and fairy tales, mythology, but it's not the kind of Disney-fied kind of it's not kind of watered down and made safe for kids. It's very much kind of what you'd expect from like the old kind of like Grimm's fairy tales, where it's kind of things don't always end well for characters. And this is very much kind of seen with when and where the book is actually set, because it's set in Spain during World War II. So this is just after the Spanish Civil War. So by the time the book starts, the country's already under the control and the rule of General Franco and his fascists. And okay, Miss, I think, if I remember my World War II history correctly, Spain was neutral during World War II. They didn't actually take part in any of the fighting, but they were more allied towards, obviously, Germany and Italy. So again, it's set in a very dark period in history. And I do kind of like the fact that throughout the book, kind of especially at the start, I think it's more at the start of most sections of the story, it starts off with a wee section of a kind of fairy tale or a bit of folklore mythology that's supposed to be centred around the mill where it's all of the events of the story like take place, which kind of solidifies what has actually happened in the book and gives it this kind of sense of kind of timelessness and this kind of sense of kind of inevitability almost. That there's always this kind of air and sense of tragedy and darkness about the mill itself, that there's always been kind of conflict, death, there's been magic, there's been witches, there's always that kind of supernatural, kind of dark aspect to the actual location of the story itself. And I do remember with the movie, it's that the whole kind of aspect of like the whole kind of underworld kingdom of the underworld is a bit more kind of ambiguous, especially right at the end, because with the main character, who's Ophelia, who is the young daughter of a woman who is her mum's been widowed, and she's remarried, and it's this kind of capitan from the Spanish army, and Ophelia keeps referring to him as the wolf, so very much kind of sets him as being the bad guy and the villain of the story. But that she could have changed her mind a wee bit about kind of using that name for him towards the end of the book, but I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to do spoilers. And in the book itself, it is very much kind of, I wouldn't say made clear, but it's kind of very much kind of emphasised that the idea that Ophelia is the lost princess of the underworld is a bit more kind of emphasised than it is in the movie. And I do love the fact that it's like Ophelia, who is the main character, is very much on this kind of dark, tragic journey of self-discovery. Because again, she's kind of, I think she's about 11, 12 years old in the book. I could be wrong, but again, she's just on that kind of cusp of adolescence, kind of cusp of kind of becoming a woman. And that kind of is very much kind of mirrored and emphasised in the story, that she is kind of, she's supposed to be kind of rediscovering who she really is, that she's more than what she thought she was, but she's been surrounded by death, desolation and loss, almost as if suggesting that to become who you really are, or to become who you're supposed to be, there's always going to be an element of loss. There's always going to be an element of having to give something up, which does seem to be a bit of a theme throughout the book. And I kind of do love the fact that kind of with a Pan's Labyrinth, you have all these kind of magical creatures, because usually with a lot of these movies that kind of have elements of fairy tales and the kind of elements of the supernatural and folklore, the kind of magical creatures that show up are there to help and support the main character and help them get to where they're supposed to get to. But in Pan's Labyrinth, it's a bit hazier than that. It's you're very much kind of set up to kind of maybe kind of not be too sure of what the fawn is up to, what his motivations are. And kind of Ophelia, the main character, does voice that in the book. Is he really there to help her? Is he out there for his own aims? Is he really just another monster that she has to face? I kind of quite like that. But again, it is very much a kind of a move from what you do kind of tend to get in kind of things like Disney movies, like kind of things like would be like Cinderella, where like the fairy godmother just shows up and makes everything better. And it's the fact that the way that it is kind of done is in the book and the movie. Ophelia is given tasks, is that she's told that if she completes these 3 tasks, then she's going to be able to kind of become the princess of the underworld and kind of regain her place where she's really supposed to be. And that very much is resonant and kind of harks back to a lot of the kind of older mythology. It kind of made me think of things out of kind of Greek mythology, because you'd get the story of Hercules and his 12 labours, where he's trying to kind of regain what he once had, or to essentially make up for murdering his wife and his children, and kind of a bout of insanity which was actually caused by Hera, and so he has to go off and do all his labours. And so that's kind of mirrored in what's happening with Ophelia. And anybody who knows what I tend to like to read and what I even tend to enjoy writing, I really did love the whole kind of aspect of folklore, mythology, and just the whole kind of dark aspect of the book. I just kind of made it kind of just so good for me. And I do love kind of dark fantasies. Kind of, it is something that I've kind of moved more into as I've kind of grown as a reader, and it's just something that kind of I just find fascinating. And maybe it is the fact that I really enjoy a really dark piece of folklore mythology, and yeah, just moved that into fantasy. And I do think kind of the fact that they have used folklore mythology in a Pan's Labyrinth just kind of gives it that kind of depth to it, and just kind of gives it that kind of almost that kind of timeless quality. There's that kind of aspect of it that there's been stories being told kind of similar to this for centuries, and it just has that kind of element of it will just keep getting told. So I don't really want to kind of give any spoilers, because I know there probably will be people out there who've not seen the movie and who might be interested in reading the book. But it's like, if you are interested in reading the book, I would definitely recommend reading both the book and the movie, or reading the book and seeing the movie as well, because the cinematography in the movie is absolutely amazing. So it's definitely worthwhile. And Del Toro as a director, I think he always seems to kind of be the sort of director that comes out with these kind of cult classics that should be on everyone's to watch list. And I would definitely say that the novelisation of A Pan's Labyrinth should definitely be on everyone's to read list, because it's just such a well written book and it's just such a good story. So that's definitely one I'm going to recommend folk to read. So I'm going to sign off just now, and hopefully you all enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.